guys, Wendy here. Today I thought we could make a cute little animal planter. So this is a rhino out of clay, and I thought that this particular pottery activity would be great for adults and kids. So I have a kids pottery kit, but this would be a really fun activity for adults as well. And I thought I'd make it, just take it slow and keep it easy, just so that beginners can do it. So it's not about making something perfect. It's about just having fun, doing something creative, because generally when we're doing creative things, it makes us feel good. But we don't want to get caught up in, it being something that's perfect. And so I'm just down here saying hi, and now I'm going to get up and start making something. And so in the clay pack, we've got a round ball of clay and then a rectangular one. So we're going to start with the ball of clay, and we're going to make the body of our, it could be a little succulent or cactus planter. It could be, might want to put your crystals in there, or your marbles, or your spare coins, or jewelry, or heaps of different things you could use it for. And so I thought the style that we would do it in is to actually use the technique of a pinch pot, because it's really easy. All right, I'm going to stand up now so that you can see my hands and see what I'm doing. All right, let's do it. Okay, so we've got this round ball of clay, and so what we're going to do is stick our thumb down into there, into the middle like that. And then it's called a pinch pot because you're just pinching the edges. So you're sticking your thumb and your finger on the outside, thumb on the inside, and you're just pushing out a bit at a time. And you can sit it down on the bench, and you can use your thumb, and you can push down as well. Now the reason why with these pots here, so this is a little rhino, so the reason why they're quite thick is because when you're a beginner, you don't want it being really flimsy and moving around and the sides falling in and collapsing. You want it to be quite solid, and that way, parts aren't going to break off, and it's going to be easier to work with and less likely to break. So that was a giraffe, and then we've got a little dinosaur. And I think I'm going to make an elephant. So I'm still using my thumb, and I'm pushing down, and I suppose the thickness of these, the thickness of the base and the thickness of the walls of this pinch pot are going to be about 1 centimetre. So I don't know, maybe like the thickness of your finger even, maybe like an adult's finger. But don't get too caught up on that. Just know that you want it to still feel quite solid and not flimsy. So I'm still pushing it out, because this is what this one's looking like so far. And this one's, a little bit thinner and a little bit more pushed out and smoothed over. So we'll still work on that. You can choose, you might find that you've got like a figurine or a toy or something around the house, or you can use a picture from the internet of a wild animal or a cat or a dog or whatever takes your fancy, so that it helps you to kind of know what sort of features and how it might look. And so, okay, I'm going to get back to still pinching the edges, and then feeling and seeing what parts are really thick, the thickest parts, and trying to make the thickness even. So the same thickness for the base and the walls. So I'm still going around pinching with my fingers and my thumb. And then what I can also do is I can even just turn it up every now and again, just give it a light tap, just to make sure that it's reasonably even on the top. So I'm still going, I'm still pinching around the edges. I think these edges are quite good, but inside it's still really quite thick in the walls. So I'm gonna pinch around the middle section. It'll get it, make it a bit more kind of rounded in there, give me a bit more room, especially if I want to put a bit of soil in there and put a plant in there. And the base, I still need to use my thumb and push down. You're best to go gently because you can always keep going. You don't want to go too far and poke a hole in it or make it so thin that it just isn't solid and can't hold that shape and structure. So I'm still going around. Now, I think that's quite good because, you know, it doesn't have to be, I mean, you know, that's a pretty good shape. But I think what I might do is just hold it in my left hand, and because it's quite solid, I can quite easily kind of smooth it around with my thumb. And if I want to just give it a bit more support, so if I feel like it's getting pushed in when I'm pushing on the outside, I can put these fingers on the inside just to give me a little bit of support. It doesn't have to be perfect, just keep going until you're happy with it. You might want it to be nice and rough on the outside. Maybe the animal that you're making has a very furry, scraggly exterior. Maybe it's furry and scraggly and crazy on the outside. Lots of crazy fur or something. If so, you know, you can use the tool later and do some scratches and furry kind of patterns on there if you want to. Use your imagination. You might want to create your own creature that you've never seen before out of your imagination. That could come out really quite interesting. Okay, so I'm just smoothing out on the outside, and again, you know, it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to take my time here because I don't, you know, just so you can keep up. And so if you feel like I'm going ahead or I'm ahead of you, just pause the video or take it back to the beginning. Just keep taking it back to the beginning until you feel like you've caught up, because I've done this. I've worked with clay a lot, so I've had a lot of practice. And it might take you a little while to just get the hang of it, get the feel of the clay. It feels really good. There's something really natural about it. It feels really good when you do it. It's a bit like maybe when you go to the beach or you're out walking in a rainforest or something, because I guess you are touching something that's come out of the ground. So there's something nice about it. Feels good. And, you know, you can get really into it. Really quite, you know, concentrate on what you're doing and get quite absorbed into it. Well, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, you can also, if you want more rounded at the bottom, you can kind of roll it. You can use the tabletop to your advantage. And again, I could turn it over and just give it a bit of a tap. I think I do want it a bit rounder. I think I do want it a bit rounder at the bottom. I'm making an elephant, so he's going to have chunky legs. I'm just going to bang that a bit more because it's a little bit uneven. I might even just make this a little bit thinner around this top bit that it's not really going to be doing too much work or supporting anything major. And then it might be a little bit different to the other ones, and try something new here. Because it doesn't have to be a certain way. This is just an example of one way you can do it. But just the main thing is I just keep it still quite thick, so that especially in the base and in the walls, these wall bits around here, just so that it supports what you're doing. And then, okay, well, it's quite flat on the bottom. I think I want it to be rounder, or more kind of rounded like a ball instead of the bottom of a plate. So I'm going to smooth that around. Just going to keep smoothing it around. So that looks quite good. Okay, just smoothing it out a bit. I'm going to attach my legs to there. I'm actually going to use the table and just kind of bang it really gently to round it even more at the bottom, because this isn't going to be sitting, this part's not going to be sitting on the table unless you're doing something like, say for instance, a turtle. That's going to be quite low to the ground, but that's okay. So with this turtle, I've made a really rough little pot, and then I've added some feet onto the bottom. I've done quite a fast rush job on this, and then so he is the other way around. So if you want to make an animal that's like a turtle or a porcupine or an echidna, you might want to turn it around this way, and you can change the shape. So you might not want it to be round. So at the moment it's round. This rhino is round. This dinosaur is a bit more, maybe like an egg shape. So I've just, to make it an egg shape like that, I've just in the middle given it a squeeze, like that, simple as that. So I think my elephant is going to be an oval shape. His body's going to be an oval shape. So I'm quite happy with that. And you know, just smooth it as much as you want. Pause the video, start at the beginning again so you can go at your own pace if you want. That looks pretty good. All right, so I'm going to sit him down here, and then I'm going to get my rectangular piece of clay. And so I want enough. Here's an elephant that's been done where the walls have been pinched very thin, and see how it's lost its shape and it's quite flimsy. It's bigger and thinner, and maybe that's something you can do as you get more experience, but it makes it makes it harder to work with. It can lose its shape. And this was very soft clay. So this terracotta clay is a lot easier to work with. But what we want to be doing, we want to be saving enough clay out of our rectangular piece, because we want to make, well, I want to make a face, and I want to make a trunk, and I want to make some ears. Or if I was making a giraffe, so this one's quite solid, but I needed to leave enough to make the neck and the head and a little tail on the back. My dinosaur, again, I wanted to make a neck and a tail. And same with my rhino, a head and a little tail. But I didn't, see with the rhino, he's got little short stubby legs, and the giraffe has got long legs. Now it's a lot easier to do short stumpy legs. So you might want to do something with short stumpy legs just to begin with. if you're a little bit unsure. So I'll pop elephant over here. Here's another giraffe done with a much softer clay and squeezed, a lot thinner. This clay was a little bit more difficult to work with because it was so soft, and so this one's firmer, so that's why we're working with this firmer clay, especially if you're learning. All right, so we've got this rectangular piece. So I'm just gonna, all right, I need some elephant legs, so I'm just gonna break off 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm gonna put this back in the bag so it doesn't dry out. Actually, I think what I'll do as well, first of all, I'm gonna roll these into balls because that will be easy to start with. Easy to make the legs, so you can roll it in a ball in your hand or on the bench top. I actually like doing this on my kitchen bench because it's a good height and I can stand up. So we're rolling, making round balls. So yeah, do in your hand. You could start in your hand and then roll it on the table. If you're finding that you're taking your time and it's taking a little bit of time, because you want these pieces of clay that you've pulled off to be the same size. And if you want to take your time with each one, put the other 3 in the bag and do one at a time and just take them out one at a time and roll them, so they don't dry out, because it's going to be harder to work with as this clay dries out. You want it to stay nice and moisture filled as it is when you first take it out of the bag. Okay, so I've got my 4 balls, and I think I am actually, now that I've rolled them, because I rolled them quite quickly, I'm putting them in the bag over here. And so I'm going to work on one at a time. So you might decide you want to just make them little balls, 4 little ball legs, which is fine. Or you might decide you want them to be maybe a bit kind of, instead of round, you want them to be more like a cylinder. But I think they'll still, either way, I'm going to do a couple of each and just show you. So I've got my long shape, so I want my legs to be at either end of this oval shape. So it's not going to matter too much because they're going to be so close together. All right, so I'm going to start smoothing. So I've sat that on there like that. And now I'm going to, you really want these legs to stay on. So you're going around the edges and you're smoothing it down. Smoothing it down around the edges like so. So there we go, we've got one, and I'm going to smooth it around horizontally as well. There we go. All right, now I'm going to add another leg, get another one of these balls out of the bag. Just going to check my shape again. Okay, so I'm going to put that right next to this one. Might be, they don't have to be exactly the same, but close enough is good enough. And again, I'm smoothing that down. Remember to pause the video if you feel like you just want to take your time and you need more time. So we're smoothing down the outside like so. And then we're kind of, because we want to smooth down the inside bit here, we can kind of smooth down into each other. Push it down like that into there, just to kind of give it a bit of support in there. So these legs are going to stay on. So again, I'm just going around horizontally, just around this bit here. Not too hard because we don't want to push the legs off. Just applying the right amount of pressure to smooth the clay without pushing the legs off. Try and just smooth things out. They don't have to be smooth, they can be rough. You can do it any way you want. Like this turtle, I made him quite rough, just made him really quickly and rough, which is fine. And same with these guys. They were made quite quickly, they're not perfect, and they were fun to make, and they look good. So don't worry too much. Think more about, I would focus more on just having fun with this than the outcome, really. Just enjoying yourself, just here and now, without worrying about anything else. Okay, so look, we've got 2 cute little stumpy legs. So we've got 2 more, and I'm going to show you another way you can do these legs if you want to. Just in case you're watching this video and you thought you might watch it through before you actually do it. So you can just roll this, if you can keep it straight and roll it. See how you're getting like a cylinder, and then you can bang it on the table, top and bottom. And it's like I guess like a packet of Mentos or something, that kind of cylinder shape. So we've got, I guess they're more like how an elephant's legs would be. But still, you know, like these look cute too, so it doesn't really matter. So that one would go there. I'm going to smooth it out, just like I did with the other ones. So these ones are a little bit more rounded at the bottom. These ones are a little bit more square. And I'm smoothing that down. And yeah, like I said, you can take as long as you want doing this. You don't have to rush, and you don't have to keep up with me either. And that's the beauty of this, that it's reasonably fast for those who, you know, want to do it fast. And then for those that want to take their time, you can just pause or re-watch, go back, that type of thing. I'm banging either end, and then I'm rolling, and I'm banging either end. This is a great little activity for parents and kids to do together. Okay. Oh, pretty good. I'm just going to tap that again, because as you're doing this, you're looking to see if those legs are even too, but I have a little remedy if they are a little bit uneven anyway. I'm just going to use the tool and just go in and just smooth that a bit, because my fingers won't fit in there. And then I'm just going to just get in there. All right, now I'm doing this last leg, and I'm just smoothing that down like that. And then it's hard to get in there, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use this tool to blend it. It's a lot easier to do when you've got your face right in there and you can see it when you're not trying to show someone else. But yeah, you can see as you're doing it, just kind of poking it in there. And then I can smooth it a bit more with this end of my tool. It doesn't have to be perfect in there. You're not even going to see it, really. Okay, so see how these legs are a little bit kind of, they're flatter at the bottom, and these are a little bit more stumpy. So it doesn't really matter. So I am going to I think I'm going to round these so that they all match, and that's pretty easy to do. And the shorter the legs, the easier it's going to be for it to support, for it to stay intact and not kind of fall over and wobble over. Now I'm just going to have a look. How does that look? Oh, it's standing up all right, isn't it? I'm just going to squeeze this again just to keep that long oval shape, egg shape that I want. And just to make sure those feet are the same height so that it sits flat and even instead of kind of being a bit skew-iff. There we go, that looks pretty good. Not bad. And you can, you know, if you want to make it, if you want to tidy it up a bit, you can. If you want to keep it rough, you can. You can put some patterns in. You could put some circles, or you could put some lines. You could make fur. You could make little lines that represent spines. And like I said, you could even turn it over and make it like a turtle or a porcupine, echidna, something like that. It doesn't have to be up this way. You can turn it up that way, and then you're attaching the feet to those side walls. Similar, exactly the same as what we did here, where you're blending. You need to blend everything and make sure that it's all blended all around each side so that they don't fall off. Okay, cool. Let's make an elephant head. You can do the animal of your choice, of course, and I might even sit Mr. Elephant over here so you can see his face. All right, so I've got another little block of clay in here. So I think I'm just going to get a small piece like so and just start to work out which end I want to be the back and the front. They both look pretty similar. So, all right, I'm going to make this the front piece. So I've put, just so that I get, you might decide you want a really big head, put a big head on there. I'm just putting kind of a piece like this. My elephant's head isn't very big. I don't think it is anyway. I could change my mind. So I've added an extra little lumpy bit on there. And then I think I'm going to break off another piece like so. And you know, you can always take it off or add or whatever. I'm going to roll it between my hands and make a long trunk. I'm going to roll it, get the size that I want. Maybe my elephant's going to have a big trunk. And then what I'm going to do, on one of the ends, I'm going to tap it on the bench because my elephant, his trunk is going to be flat at the end. And then I might poke a hole in the end so he can drink lots of water and wash himself. Okay, and I'm just going to play with this and just make sure that it's quite even. And now I'm just going to see how this looks, because this is all about experimentation. I might smooth some of that into the head, and this, I think this elephant's trunk is going to be facing up quite high, like that. And so this piece here, I really want that to stay on. So I am going to also make this part of the face, and I'm really going to smooth that in. Make sure it's in the middle, and I'm smoothing like that evening it out, and it's kind of sticking out here, so I'm going to just smooth it over a bit more, flatten it out. I'm still figuring out my elephant's shape of his face, or her face. Haven't decided yet. Could be either or both. Okay. Okay, either or both or neither. Okay, alrighty. Yes, I'm liking this. I think I'm liking that. Yes. Alright, so now I'm going to add some eyes. So I think I'm going to make two little, well, not too little. I think I'm going to make his features quite big because I think that will be cute. Sit him over here. So I'm going to take I've just grabbed these 2 bits of clay off my rectangular piece. So I'm going to pinch between my fingers, but I'm also going to put my fingers around the outside and try and make a circle, like a thin circle. Not too thin though. I think I'm going to push it in at the edges but I also need to blend it. So it needs to be a reasonable size. So this is probably the size of a 5-cent piece or a dime, maybe a bit bigger. It's probably bigger actually. I'm going to pop this one on. Actually, I think I want it to be a bit fatter. So I'm going to push it in at the sides because I want it to be thicker. Okay, just going to stick that on there for a minute. Not bad. I'm going to do the same with this piece. So I'm holding it between my forefinger and my thumb like that, like a coin, and then I'm just squeezing around the edges of this coin. Trying to find the best way to show you. And then I don't want it to be too thin, and I don't want it to be too small because I need to blend it all around the edges so it stays on the elephant's head and doesn't fall off. Okay, I don't need to put that one on yet, but I'm just having a look. Yeah, I quite like that. I think his eyes need to be maybe a bit closer together, and that's the thing. You can just keep looking at it and figuring it out as you go along. So I need to blend these eyes on. So I'm just getting my finger and pushing down and blending around that eye. And I'm getting in there, and I'm getting right in there and blending. And then I'm doing the other side. So I'll blend that in there as well. That's pretty good. I started out with about half a kilo of clay. Oh, my elephant's looking kind of cute. Okay, I am going to just smooth it a little bit, just tidy it up a bit. Ooh. Did I put a mouth on this one? This elephant doesn't have a mouth, but that's okay because we just make things how we want to make them, don't we? Doesn't matter. All right, I'm just smoothing around this eye a bit now. Okay, smoothie, smoothie, smoothie. Okay, and then I'm just going to push the edges down a little bit because they're kind of sticking up a bit. Got to be careful with that trunk that you don't knock it off. You could do a smaller, stumpier trunk too, which could be cute. Okay, so I think I want to give my elephant some eyeballs. Well, not eyeballs. I want to put some holes in here so they look like more like real eyes. So I'm going to poke that in there like that and kind of twist it around. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Yeah, I quite like that. Okay, now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my elephant a bit of a mouth. So I think I'm just going to, I'm just going to kind of cut a slit that goes across like that. But then I'm going to kind of stick this in and try and, because elephants' mouths kind of stick out a bit. You can have just a normal mouth like this, but I think I'm going to stick my finger in there and maybe just, sorry, I'm covering that. Let's try and make it so you can see it a bit. Let's just kind of turn this up, just so we can have like a bit of a lip there. Bit of a lip, bit of a top lip. How does he look? No, actually, I don't know about that. I don't think it needs to be that big. I'm going to make it smaller. So I'm just going to get rid of the side bits. I'm going to smush that down. Okay, I'm smoothing that down now because it looks kind of weird. Okay, I'm going back to that. Going back to that bit. All right, I'm going to do the ears because, oh, and I'm just going to push down around this eye a bit. It's still kind of sticking out. Okay. Oh, all right. Mouth is a work in progress. I'm going to start on the ears. So, I'm going to get 2 pieces like so. And I'm just going to, same like I did with the eyes, I'm holding it on the edges so that the edges don't get too thin at the moment, so that I can pinch these inside pieces and flatten it out a bit, like so. Okay. Okay. So I'm flattening it out, but I'm just making sure the edges don't get too thin because I don't want the clay to crack. So I'm just kind of getting a big, elephant's ears are they're pretty big. I'm just kind of making it like a round shape like that. How about we have a look and see what it looks like? I can just kind of sit it on here. Let's have a look. Oh, I quite like that. I'm going to make another similar piece. I'm actually not going to put this on yet so that I can make the other one similar, so I can compare. But I'm just, again, pinching, using my fingers to pinch the clay. But I don't want it too thin. But I want to kind of spread it out and get a roundish kind of shape. But I don't want it to be round. It's probably more like a cloud actually than round, because elephant's ears obviously aren't round. But I'm just kind of smoothing. But you can make your own body parts. Just use your imagination, or use a picture, or if there's a particular type of animal you like and you've got a toy like that, or your kids do. That's close enough. I think they're pretty good. Not too thin. They probably are about as thin as maybe a coin. Don't want them any thinner than that. So yeah, they're going to go on my elephant. So yeah, I'm going to attach my first ear. So I'm going to, again, it's all about blending, isn't it? Oops. It's all about the blending. So I'm blending, blending. There we go. That's really good. All right. It's going to be not so easy to get behind these ears. So I'm just going to kind of just push into there while supporting with my thumb, just to kind of get the clay from the ear blending with the clay from the body, and I can just kind of pull it around to even do that. So that doesn't look too bad. At least it doesn't look like two separate pieces of clay anymore. It's quite blended. That looks quite good. Not bad. Okay, I'm just, as you go along, just have a look at it. If there's something you want to blend it. Okay, let's attach this other ear. Let's have a look. Ooh. Okay, that's quite good. Oh, all right, so again, I'm going to blend this. Use my thumb. If you've got long nails, you can use the tool for a lot of this, and then just kind of use the side of your finger for blending. That's quite good in there. I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit there. There we go. This ear. Okay, and again at the back of this ear. Okay, I'm just smoothing, doing a bit more smoothing. I am going to just have a look at my elephant. Oh yeah, I'm going to smooth his face a bit. So I'm just, any kind of bits that are sticking up, I'm just kind of smoothing down. Just the way, you know, the way I like it. So it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You're the only person that needs to like it. I'm just going to just smooth that out down here on the legs. And then I'm going to go behind the ear, and I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the other one, where I'm just going to hold this with my thumb so it doesn't fall off, and then I'm just going to stick it in there, kind of just kind of pushing it down, and then I'm just going to just use a tool and pull it around like that. Let's have a look. Just going to push it in there a bit more, just so they're blended, so you can't see a line and the separation between the two. It's a little bit hard doing it on the camera here. I'm just going to use this bit and just smooth it. That's better. Okay, see how it's quite smooth in there now. Okay. And I've decided with my elephant's mouth, oops, sorry. I've decided that he's just going to have just a cute, how can I actually do it? Just a cute little, just a teeny tiny little, oops, that was a bit crooked. I'm just gonna just give me, okay. Just smoothing some more bits here. You do tend to knock it a little bit as you're doing other parts of the body. You can kind of accidentally knock things that you've already done. So you're just kind of tidying it up as you go along. I'm just fixing up this mouth. I'm just fixing up this mouth. Let's have a look. Oh, that's kind of cute. Just a really cute little subtle little mouth. It's really easy to focus on the trunk, and sometimes you can forget that elephants have a mouth. It's actually not easy to do this when you're filming it. It's a lot easier when you can really get in there and look at it. Okay, there's my elephant. So you can do it how you want it. Sorry about that. Just do it how you want it. How's that going? Not bad. Okay. I think I quite like that. Just gonna... Yeah, I quite like that. All right. He's looking pretty good. I'll move him out of the way and I'll move him back so you can see. Now, what is he missing now? I think he might be missing some tusks and a tail. All right, so I've still got some bits here. Tusks can be hard. You don't have to add them. Probably the easiest way is to make them short and stumpy. So the shorter and stumpier things are, the easier they are to do with, if you're doing pottery, I think, to join on and less likely to break off, that type of thing. Okay, so I am just, again, kind of rolling a small piece of clay that I picked up out of my scraps. And I think this tusk is going to be kind of, I'm going to just squeeze it at the ends and make it kind of pointy. Like that. I'll still leave this kind of rough because I'm going to blend that. So I've got this kind of pointy shape. So I'll stick, I just might make it a little bit longer. So I'll just roll it a bit. All right, so make yours short if you think it's going to be a little bit harder. Now, I'm going to put the tusk kind of there. I think it's going to come down and kind of curl up like that. Yeah, and then I'm going to, again, I'm just going to blend it like that. Pretty good. Blending. It's not bad. And then again, now we've got this little gap between the tusk and the trunk. So again, we'll just kind of push down into there just to blend it, and just push down. And again here, just kind of pushing clay down into it, just so that it's not going to come apart. It's quite fiddly. So that's why it's really good to have a bit of a think about the animal you might want to make. It doesn't have to be perfect, but have a think about how, you know, how easy or difficult it might be to make for you. How complicated it is. You could start with something simpler. All right, so I've got a tusk, one tusk, and I'm going to do another tusk. So again, I'm just going to roll that. I'm going to make it pointy at the end, like that, and just make it a bit longer. And I'm going to try and make it like the other one. I'm just going to blend a little bit here too. The clay's starting to dry out, so it's really good to keep it in the bag when you can. And so this tusk is going to go here, and it's going to curl up as well. So again, I'm blending. I'll blend that into the eye a bit hopefully without damaging the eye. And then I'll blend it down here. just tidying up a bit. And then underneath, I'll get my tool and just kind of push clay down into there. And in the middle, just kind of push down, just so that it all gets blended in. You can't see a difference between where you started and where one piece of clay starts and another one ends. It all blends together. That way it's not going to fall off when it dries. Okay, let's have a look under here. It's a bit messy under there, so now I can kind of use my finger just to kind of blend that. But you know, you might like it messy. Sometimes I like to make things that are really, really kind of rough and messy, and yeah, quite a lot actually. Okay, so I'm just going around my elephant, my whole elephant, just kind of looking at things I might want to tidy up, but only if I want to. Just still blending all in there. And then I might just, again, I think I just need to kind of just flatten that out in there a bit. There we go. It's not bad, I quite like that. Just going, looking at the body, just any kind of bits that look, I might even just go in these eyes again and just make them a bit cleaner, because they have been knocked around a little bit by my fingers. Okay, I'll look at the legs, the body, just check it all out, just see. I'll turn it and I'll look at it. Not bad. And then I might kind of turn these ears out a bit even more, like just give them, support them at the same time as you're bending them. Just do it really gently because you don't want to rip them off. There we go. Okay. Okay. Okay, I quite like him. And I'll just adjust his, there we go, his tusk a little bit. All right, now I'm going to put a little tail on it. Looks like I've ended up with just the right, look, that's all I've got left. Sometimes if you've got a bit of clay left, you can make like a little animal. So last time I made something, I had this tiny bit of clay left, and so I made a little dolphin. Okay, so I'm making my tail now. So again, I'm making a long strip. I don't want it to be too thin because I don't want it to break off, but I'm pretty sure with an elephant's tail, it's kind of bobbly at the end. This is really good practice for your fingers, for your fine motor skills actually, because it might take a little while to get used to working with clay, but it's good practice for just your fingers, just doing fine little things, making things. Okay, so they have like a bobble at the end. I'm just gonna play with this a bit more, smooth it and make it into a bit of a little bally bit at the end. I'm kind of pushing down, pushing back at the end of that tail to make like a little kind of bally type thing at the end. And then I'll just make this so that it's kind of even. And I think it's kind of like a bauble thing, but it's kind of pointy at the bottom. So I'm just squeezing that there like that. All right, now I'm putting the tail on. Here we go. So I've just sat it on there. So what I'm going to do, I really do not want that to fall off because it's quite fine. So I'm going to blend it really well. Just going to blend that. I'm even going to take this and kind of this top part of the tail and blend it in to the pot. Because essentially we started with a little pinch pot and we are making it into an animal / planter, bowl, whatever you want it to be. So I'm smoothing that in on the inside. There we go. Just smoothing it around. All right, let's have a look at this. Okay, I don't want it to come off, so I'm really going to blend it at the top. I kind of do want it to hang a bit at the bottom like that. It's quite cute. So, and then on this side, again, I'm going to blend it, but I'm kind of letting it still stick out. And it's joined, and then it's kind of becomes the tail a little bit lower down. And then what I'm going to do with my elephant is I'm actually just going to just support it with my two little fingers here. I'm just going to put some this little end of the tail has hair on it. So I am going to just draw some bits of hair on there. Just do it really gently, because we don't want it to fall off and we don't want to touch it too much. And I've just noticed back here, I might want to just smooth that a little bit too. So you're looking over and you're working on it until you're happy with it. And if you want to go do something and come back, you need to put it in plastic, because otherwise it'll dry out and you won't be able to work with it. So that looks pretty good. So put it in plastic. You might have like another bigger plastic bag if it won't fit in the original packaging. Okay, I think I'm quite happy with that. I think our elephant is done. So we have our cute little elephant planter, bowl, whatever you want to call it. And he's got some friends over here. Some other ones I made earlier. Even a dinosaur. So if you liked this, please like and subscribe. There'll be more videos uploaded over time. And yeah, if you'd like to get a kit, just go to my Instagram or Facebook page, Little Miss Potty Mouth, LIL Miss Potty Mouth, and get a kit. But otherwise, if you've got some clay, have a go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.